I'd like to start with the fact that we know it's been 2 years from the Usindiso fire. 77 lives were claimed. Survivors remain, Nomzamo, without permanent shelter and say they've been abandoned by authorities. What's SERI's assessment of the city of Johannesburg's follow-through on its obligations?
Good morning, Janelle. Thank you for inviting us. I think it was, first of all, we were all energized when the Premier appointed the Usindiso Commission of Inquiry and Justice Kambembe to chair it. And in fact, it is, when you were reading earlier, it was from her recommendations in 2024 that we learned that the city is partially responsible for what happened. There were steps that were meant to be taken. There was even meant to be support provided to the victims. But today, I think almost a year and a half to when that report was released, nothing has been done. Unfortunately, the victims who were moved to the Denver TRA are still there. And they are experiencing different difficulties, from other natural disasters to violence in the community. And unfortunately, there hasn't really been any, at least on the city's side, any commitment to follow through on what they said they would do in relation to Usindiso.
I want us to get back to Denver in a moment, Nomzamo, because that's so important. But let's talk about the fact that part of the Commission's recommendations, if I have it correctly, I remember, was demolition, right? As we said, survivors still waiting for meaningful action as well. When you reflect on the Commission's recommendations, what concrete steps would you say must be taken immediately to honor both justice but human dignity as well?
Look, so one of the things that the Commission recommended was a memorial that would recognize all those who had passed away. And there was meant to be a task team appointed. In fact, the Premier announced that he would consult the Mayor of Johannesburg and that team would be pulled together in order to implement the recommendations from Part 1. Of course, part of that was also for the city to investigate who in its officials and public office bearers had to be disciplined.